All right, guys, we're back. Thanks for the wait. I feel really terrible because this is a really nice and awesome thing TakeTV's doing, but everybody is, I guess us included, a little frustrated with the delays. Players as well. This lobby is full of just.
I mean, honestly, it is a little surprising because when I looked at it, I definitely thought like, well, that's a lot of stuff to do, but I didn't necessarily think that's more than they
Well,
can chew. I wasn't that, but maybe it is.
I was also like, it's TakeTV. They know how to run stuff. They
Exactly.
normally know how to run stuff really smoothly too. On top of that, but yeah,
I
there's
guess,
a bunch of delays today, guys. So just sorry. I know it's boring and it's
yeah,
not super fun.
could be just a terrible first day, but that is like, it is a lot to do. I guess they have the in-house players to deal with, and of course they have four other language streams, making sure everyone's Gucci there, which they actually have been. That's not one of been one of the problems. Um, and then the online guys as well, and making sure that both, because there's two groups going on right now, right? So both groups are doing well. There's a lot to do, but I also like we were talking about 2 days for so many groups is kind of extreme, even if you do
Yeah.
only half of them. So it's they were in for some extreme stuff, and I think they just kind of got squished into the 2 days because first of all there's BlizzCon to worry about, but then Blizzard updated their days for the round of 16 matches. So I think they got squished even more because of that. 'Cause
Mm.
originally they were 3 days later.
That's right, and I can't forget. This was like, of course, people affected most by this too. They changed the groups like 3 or 4 times too, so like that really
Mhm.
changed up people's perhaps availabilities to practice and do stuff. But
Yeah. Yep. So I guess it's all kind of coming together for what is unfortunately a good amount of delays.
mm. Well, it's definitely been 3 minutes.
Yeah, I was just checking. What are they all talking about? Should all be ready to go. Well, they meant 3 minutes and then 2 more minutes for the delay after, of course. Oh, okay, good.
Oh, okay, that's
That
my
was just a
bad.
joke,
I wasn't thinking clearly.
clearly. But now they're actually ready to go.
Yeah. All right, cool. Maybe you want to? Okay, hang on. First off, we got some resubs. Thank you so much to Sasquatch for the 3-month resub, as well as a little musing. But man, I'm now aware of maybe this is like, you have people like the Flash and Superman who can go super duper fast, but to blend in with the rest of the world, they have to walk like normal. But for them, that must be like extremely slow. Maybe our problem is our superpowers in going through the groups too fast when we cast things and when we host things. So we come to these other things. This is normal. Like I'm somewhat serious here, right? Like this is normal speed. I'm not saying the 45-minute delay to the start of the stream was normal at all, but I mean like maybe we're just like too impatient
Or
for our own good.
superhero.
We're too good for our own good type thing.
I was laughing at that, plus the fact that Koss is like, go! Go
I know.
already! Come on!
Koss was
He
getting
had
really
hosts.
frustrated, but he had a host, so he didn't know he was the one who had to start it.
So when people called him out and he realized, he made like an embarrassed face.
Yeah, oops. I don't blame them though. They had to wait for so long. But okay, more on that later, guys. We're in the losers match for Group F of the TakeTV Penthouse Party Tournament. In the top left side, we do have the red Terran player. It's Cascades Kass.
In the bottom right, as the blue Protoss, he is Dead Pixel's FeaR.
Let the better Kass wins. I guess it's
Is
like a pun on
FeaR's...
may the best man win, but for himself. I don't know.
I'm like, let me look at FeaR's real name. FeaR StarCraft 2. Is Koss a real name?
I don't know. Find
Not
out.
even close. Richard Ow. Richard O. How do you pronounce AU?
I think it would be an O sound. Yeah.
Yeah, Richard O, I guess.
Well, at any rate, I would like to remind you guys as we get into the game that the prize pool for this tournament can be increased. I believe it started at baseline 500. But any donations and subscribers that go to TakeTV stream, I believe half of those will be going toward the prize pool. So You check that out. I want to make it very clear, however, that doesn't apply to subs over here. Subs and donations on BaseTradeTV are going to be staying on BaseTradeTV. I love TaKe's TV, but we need some money at the end of the day too, guys. So, unfortunately, while we do put a lot of money into Matcherino and all these other things that we do, we can't afford to do that here for this. So this is the TaKe's TV Penthouse tournament. We're just kind of, we're sleeping on the couch, I guess, of the Penthouse, which is probably still more luxurious than most beds.
Can we do like a couch sleep cast, you know? Just both of us on couches, lying down with the headset casually on a...
So we just have, we got 2 couches lined up next to each other. Because obviously there's no snuggling involved here. And you just want to super, like, fall asleep while casting, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, yeah. And what if we could just get, like, the monitor on the ceiling so we could just stare up at it? And just chill out. That sounds fantastic. Sounds like a good stretch. It sounds like it's better for my posture.
Lying down to cast would be, you know, honestly, I would be for it if it meant that, I'm just thinking, I've never really tried to speak while lying down. Would it be more difficult to cast that way?
Probably. For me, whenever I'm lying down and speaking, like chilling out with friends, I get so much lazier.
Okay, hang on. Are you ready to take the camera for a second? I want to try something.
Yeah, go.
Alright, camera's going on Zombie Grip because, you know, shout out to these great sponsors. DX Racers do recline full 180. So I'm gonna move my mic for a sec.
But how? You're gonna see the screen.
Yeah, I can see the screen. Hang on. Oh, my desk is too close. One sec. Oh no, I'm making a mess here. Alright, I am fully reclined lying down. And alright, so can you hear me okay?
Yeah, but you sound like you're strained.
Because I'm like lying down. This feels weird. Oh, Reaper is. Oh, I'm so relaxed. I don't even want to. I'm just gonna. This is a mistake.
Terrible idea to do when it's 6 in the morning.
This is such a mistake. Reaper's doing something, I guess. I don't know. It died. There you go.
See, I feel it would be a serious problem. It'd be like,
I don't think
you
you
just
can cast like this, to be honest with you.
You get so lazy. Like, I talk so chill when, first of all, I'm not casting, and second of all, when I'm lying down. I am just like, yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess when you really think about it, Sim is a pretty good upgrade.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. And then I just wait for the people to talk, and then I just go, yeah.
This is me.
I am not very proactive at all.
I'm contributing.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you're contributing by observing, I'll tell you that much.
I gotta sit up. I'm actually gonna fall asleep. Hang on, this is such a bad idea.
Oh, the Oracle is getting some damage done. Things are actually happening in this game. To be fair, it wasn't for some time. Okay, they're both macroing. FeaR going for this third base behind the Oracles. Very common, very effective. Koss actually went for a 2-1-1, which is a totally fine build to do against Protoss, but it's kind of funny that this build, it's not a bad build at all, but it has become more related to TVZ than TvP.
I'm just wondering, FeaR, he did the exact same thing versus Zane, actually, just thinking for the Dutch StarCraft like group too.
Oh yeah.
Double Oracle and all.
He loves this build. It's a very good standard macro build, you know. If you're not going to open up with an Adept or a Blink Stock opener, then Oracle opener does a trick too, for getting that fast third base.
Now, Cass is coming with just Marines for this, which I think is really interesting. There's no Widow Mines in here at all. The Widow Mines actually been left at home to try and help catch the Oracles, the turret, and all this stuff. He's lost a lot of SCVs. He's down to 27. This is pretty not great for Cass, but the fact that this is 2 Marine drops is really odd to me, because this isn't going to get much done. Overcharge alone will stop these. Not to mention the army being here as well.
I'd say the real problem with this build that Koss does, the 2-1-1 against a Protoss, is that honestly it just feels like the problem would be there's no Marauders. Mass Marine is not bad initially, of course. You know, a lot of damage output on like what could be only Adepts. They still, with Medivacs and Stim, do very well against Stalkers, but it does feel like the Protoss is always going to have a base amount of units to deal with what is 2 Medivacs drops with the Marines. Where like some of like the 3 racks builds can be surprising in their power when they push, or the faster CC builds can get you a very good push a bit later on. Tank pushes, especially in Frozen Temple, can be tricky for some Protoss to deal with. This feels a little bit more straightforward,
Oh, wow.
I suppose.
That overcharge did nothing. That got picked
No, it
up
didn't.
immediately, and Cass, he might... There's no... No, he's not going to get the Nexus, is he?
Whoa. I don't think so. Again, there's like 4 Mirages in here.
I think if he had re-stimmed initially, he would have. This gets a little bit messy, though. He decides to kite back. Some probes are going to go down for it. The Oracle's trying to get some kills, but this is still really good damage for Cass. And, you know, the question asked before we even got into the game today was, okay, Cass's TVZ didn't look so hot versus Snoot. How's his TvP going to look? And so far, so good. I thought his opening was going to be really bad. He lost so many workers, and there's just no way he was going to get that damage back. Keep in mind, guys, what he's done here hasn't exactly brought him ahead in the game, but it did some actual damage where it looked like otherwise he would not get anything done.
That is true. I mean, he was dangerously close to not getting anything done at all, because if FeaR had predicted the main to be dropped, he could have had some of the units right there, right? Maybe he could have split a little bit better, but even with that damage done, it was some pretty decent damage. FeaR was already at such like a good macro point that just brought him down a peg.
Yeah.
But he's still, I think, ahead of Koss, who still doesn't have his 3rd CC.
This Widowmine drop's going to be really interesting, too. There's a cannon here, and it might hit the Widowmine, sure, but it's also going to be detection, so it won't be so hard to actually see these Widowmines once they unload. Observer coming out next, too, but the cannon should have detection range on some of these. I'm not sure if he'll have on both of them. One reaching a little bit further back there, but Stalkers blink in, pick off that medevac, no escape, ends up eating a Widowmine shot for it. Can he actually clean up these Marines? 15, 16 probes have died, another drop coming to the 3rd, and Koss is really just going absolutely ham with this attack.
Yeah, what's funny is he's doing what he couldn't do against the Zerg earlier in this series,
Right?
which is just finally surprise one base or another. Like, he's actually surprised all 3 bases at this point, but that one would have mind definitely helped. I think that was just an issue of FeaR.
You know what?
Realizing it was there.
Got over here just in time because I realized the Widow Mines weren't cleaned up, so another shot goes off. 3 more probes die. This Adept's going to take some damage too. And FeaR's just kind of getting a little bit awkward at dealing with Widow Mines. Koss probably sitting here wishing he brought even more Widow Mines with him.
Koss still lost his army though. Like, he didn't just do this and then get out with like 4 medevacs worth of units.
That's true.
He's been trading out every single unit every single time. So FeaR is still ahead. But at least Koss is getting something. And if all it takes is that one drop into like actually saving the units with a macro game behind it to actually catch FeaR off guard, like catch FeaR with only half his units protecting the front, kill the half units, kill the other half of the units, and then you're good to go. And that's kind of what Koss has to hope for actually at this point, because FeaR is still expanding. He's been banking minerals because of this, and has never dropped below 50 probes, I don't think.
By the way, the second graph, the army size graph, I will say is actually way better than our army graph that we had before. I like this one a lot better because it shows that dip in Cass's army when that attack happened. At least very obviously.
Well, that robotics phase. Less more disruptors. A lot more probes have gone down. The main base and the 3rd base both attacked at the same time. I don't think the 3rd did very much.
I gotta give it to Cass. Sitting on 2 bases like this, you know, he was behind in workers this whole game. Everything he's done up to this point, the argument I would make is simply evening out the gamescape. Like, okay, he's killed 51 probes. I want to point out, FeaR's done a great job of still producing them all while this goes on, for them to be even on the worker count 55 to 54.
Yeah. The first pushback made FeaR look like he was going to have no problem, but then every other drop since then has done damage, whether it was 7 probes or 15 probes. It's happened multiple times. But like you said, I feel like it really was still just evening things up. Koss was still pretty damn late to his 3rd base. That's why he had so many units to continue dropping and harassing. And now one of his main problems here is that because he's also been losing medevacs, and you do have to eventually swap over to Liberators, he doesn't have any medevacs. Every stim's gonna really hurt.
Ooh, that's a good point. I got the Disruptor coming in as well. Nothing to pick up the army, but the splits are good from Koss at that last second. That works out pretty nice for him.
Yeah. I would say if FeaR didn't have the ramp to go up, he could actually take this fight, but then again, with only 2 Disruptors, I think it's a little bit too tricky. I don't think exchanging all of these Adepts is actually worth it. They don't even get into the main base. That was a huge loss of life.
Oh.
Goodbye. Okay, save some of them, but that was not worth it for 7 SUVs. Luckily, FeaR on 4 bases and almost 70 probes can replace Adepts. It's just about having enough production to do so. 7 gateways, not bad. He did not rebuild his robotics bay. That is an extra reason not to have dedicated some of your army supply into that. With only 2 disruptors, 1 good split and 1 decent hit, and I think that bio would still overwhelm FeaR. Well, it's a little bit scary. Wait, did he lose the disruptor? He did. Okay. Well, with only 1 disruptor, that makes it even easier. He should probably get a second robo while he's at it. He's gonna expand to 5th base. I'd say definitely.
Well, Revelation sees everything coming, so FeaR positions himself pretty well. I mean, his money's still looking great. We see it down here. I'll show the income graph afterwards if the army fight doesn't end the game. But, you know, FeaR's had a lot of money to throw at the situation, bodies for days, if you will. But that being said, at some point, like, you will need effective supply. It won't just be about the type of, like, the number. Like, there's a lot of stalkers right now, obviously, but stalkers versus marauders, they don't fare so well. He's actually going to blink forward and sacrifice them all to take out the Liberators. Not sacrificing them all, of course, but sacrificing a lot. Front line gets pushed back, and Koss now on the retreat.
This looks like it's going to be FeaR's game from here on out. It has been for some time, even after 51 probes have been killed. He just never dipped into a scary low economy. He was always on 1 base ahead of Koss, and always like 10 probes ahead of him, too.
That disruptor's finally... Oh, not going to get the hit I thought it was going to get. Never mind, take that back.
Yeah, and I will not, like, while I said I initially, like, I didn't necessarily like the 2-1-1 build against Protoss, I don't necessarily think it was the entire problem. Okay, he's actually giving away a ton of units, but he's still gonna win. There might have been some macro mistakes from Koss, and there might have just been, like, simply, like over-dedication, really pushing off that 3rd base in exchange for more buildings or more marauders, actually, is probably what ate up all his money. The follow-up of all that pro damage is not there. GG.
All right. Well, FeaR takes the first game. I got to tell you, though, that didn't look like that would be the case for a while, though. Koss was getting some very serious damage done. It looked like again, 50... It's hard to look at 50 probe deaths and still consider that FeaR was ahead on economy. Like, hello? What?
He's ahead in army supply the entire game as well.
Yeah, I mean, you brought up the point too. Where it really did. It was like, just the macro mistakes may be there, maybe not. But the fact is, FeaR was just, he was nailing it. I guess the later 3rd, I think, for Koss was probably his biggest thing holding him back.
Yeah, it was certainly his biggest problem. I have to go though. So.
Oh, okay. So when we get to finish this series, give your shoutouts, say your goodbyes when you can. We'll not do an ad break instead. That way you can get out of here.
Okay, Canadian. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy Rifkin's solo cast for the next 10 hours.
Fuck me.
Not an exaggeration. Follow my Twitter at ZG Gaming, on YouTube at ZombieGrub, and on Twitch at ZombieGrub as well. My build order tutorial is probably still going to come out today. So I guess look forward to that, and see you guys tomorrow for the next day of the event. Bye.
Yeah, bye ZombieGrub. Have a good one.
Yeah.
Alright, and of course, while she gets lost, I'll get into the lobby here. Change things up on the overlay. Let's hide the Skype window for now. But yeah, we're getting into Frost for game 2. W6 Game Heart mod, nice. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about tomorrow, actually. So day 2 of this is going to happen. It's going to have the round of 16, double elimination play, all these things. We're going to be casting it. We're going to be here and casting it too. But that does conflict with our random versus random qualifier. Now, I messaged the host of the event, or not the host, I guess the donator, the sponsor, what do you want to call it, CK Walsh, asking if he minded if we could possibly not cast it, but we still have to run it because our grand finals is happening on Sunday. And what's going to happen tomorrow is we're going to be casting TakeTV's thing. And if TakeTV's thing ends early, great, we'll cast our qualifiers. However, it's very unlikely that it will end early. So what we're going to try and do is have the brackets sort of remain hidden, I guess. I'll explain that more later. But we're going to grab some of the replays from the qualifying matches, cast a couple of games on the Saturday where we originally weren't doing anything. That way on Sunday you'll have some more context for the players playing in the grand finals of the random versus random tournament. That being said, I said I wasn't going to play commercials, but we're missing a lot of people and FeaR's not even here. So I'm going to go to a 2-minute break, guys, and we'll see you soon. Okay, we're back in game. It's map number 2. Sorry guys, I had to cut those a little bit short, so thank you for those who watched the commercials. And yeah, so TaKe's versus FeaR continues. FeaR, of course, up 1 game. Excuse me. Yes, he's up 1 game presently. I had to do double take there. Forgot who was actually won that game with how that went. Bottom right side, it's going to be Cascades red Terran player TaKe's. And his opponent, of course, in the bottom left is going to be none other than FeaR. Now, there was a lot to be said about that game, and what was nice for me to watch that game was, like, even if you have the extreme Terran bias and just there's hate in your heart for Protoss and all of this, there wasn't really a lot of BS that went on. Like, that was just actually good macro out of FeaR, keeping up with the damage that TaKe's was laying on. And TaKe's, I mean, as Zomgrab and I were going super hyped for that, like, 3 bases attack all under at the same time. Widowmine's here, Marines there. TaKe's making these drops really work for him in a situation where I didn't think, honestly, any damage would get done, even from that initial pylon overcharge at the very start. However, yeah, we'll see if he can make it better, perhaps, on Frost. If nothing else, though, TaKe's kind of proven that his drops are good, FeaR proving his defense is better, and I really don't know how this will play out the way. Probably similar, to be honest. I don't think we'll see anything too crazy too late game, but I do want to remind everybody this is the losers match. So whoever loses, if TaKe's were to lose this game, he's out entirely. That's it. So long. See you later. No more chances. But if FeaR wins, he'll go on to the finals where he'll get a match against Xanster, which is going to be a bit of a rematch from that first series of the day. Which, by the way, well, I think I'm looking a little more forward to than if TaKe's were to win. As much as I love seeing Terran and I want TaKe's to do well, I'm just thinking that if Xanster and FeaR rematched, would it be the same cheese? Would it be the same 2-0? How would that actually play out? Reaper gonna hop up here to the high ground too, looking for something. Not really a lot here to see just yet, but the Stalker coming out first is going to be a little bit different as you normally expect to see an Adept. Now this might put some red flags up for TaKe's, but the fact that he saw a Robo and not a Twilight Council, I don't think he's too worried about a big old Blink all-in. But this is a map that has been pretty Blink favored in the past, so something I'm sure he's at least got in the back of his mind. Perhaps not as an initial thought. The Reaper wraps back around, might even get a probe kill. If he wants to dedicate to it, he'll get it. But yeah, walks away. Meanwhile, back at home, just finishes up his build. Nothing really too crazy over here. Not slapping at a second factory. We're not going for some mech or anything so strange, but Widowmine possibly lined up for a drop afterwards. El Bracho, by the way, thank you for the 21-month resub. Nice to see you joining us back for what is almost 2 years. But I guess FeaR, by the way, too, did use oracles in a previous attempt at the game going. So if TaKe's were to scout a Stargate, I think he'd be a little bit more worried about necessarily moving out. But the fact that he did get into the Reaper, he saw a Robo over a Stargate as the preference and the choice. He's probably feeling pretty safe to take these, load them up, and fly across the map. Speaking of excellent resubs, there's the Muslim doing his part to save esports 5 months. Whoop, whoop. Thank you to Muslim. You're a fantastic human being. And although we all know you secretly come here for the grub, sorry, she just left, man. No, but really, thank you so much for the 5 months, dude. Now this medevac flies across the map with a Widowmine in tow as predicted, and this may or may not get damage done. FeaR did a pretty good job shutting this down last time, but that was with just Marines and no Widowmine. And I think the Widowmine's got a nice little bit of staying power. Of course, the Observer's not quite out yet, so this first one should go down without a problem. Unfortunately, by unloading the Marines, it did kind of spook FeaR, and yeah, he can pick up 4 probe kills. Not too bad. He's actually going to focus on the pylon. Not going to be able to kill that before the Observer comes out. Still depowers the Robo, and now we're not going to exactly have an Immortal coming out anytime soon. Other side of the map, though, Stalkers being warped in. These do not have Blink, I'll stress that. Scan goes down to catch the Observer, but oh, didn't see the Stalkers coming, so a little bit late to the pull. Looks like he might just have gotten on the bunker in the nick of time, though. And FeaR will be pushed off this. He'll pick up and go to the high ground. They're going to use that Swarp Prism as kind of a ghetto pseudo Blink. We got Marines coming out. We got Stim on the way. We'll see if we can keep those tech labs alive. In the meantime, TaKe's is still doing damage on the other side of the map. No response over here. If he's focus firing a bit, might kill the Nexus. Probes come back. They're going to line up and see. Oh no, the probes! Oh, okay, the Widowmine just got 11 kills, and FeaR loses so much back at home. Meanwhile, the attack over here is not going too poorly. Koss is going to pull the SCVs into this, but he's got a lot of SCVs to pull into this in the first place. Marines are slowly dealing with this, and with FeaR having lost half of his income, warping in more Stalkers and Adepts, kind of out of the question. Although his micro's been pretty good so far, it's not going to be enough to win the game with 3 very dead and damaged units. In fact, the Warp Prism almost goes down. GG gets caught, and Koss will tie things up very quickly here in game number 2. Sending us to a map 3. I didn't expect the Widowmines to do... The Widowmine hit at the end was just fantastic. I'm not sure what was going on in FeaR's mind. Maybe he thought that the Widowmine was cleaned up or forgot that it was even there. You know, busy fighting on the other side of the map. Oh, excuse me, but either way, this will certainly make this a more interesting series with this tying up, opposed to another 2-0. See if this goes one step further. I guess it's kind of interesting, though. We did have 2-0, 2-0 into ace match, so back-to-back game 3s, which is always nice. Quick reminder, by the way, guys. Again, if you haven't already seen, you can increase the prize pool by supporting TakeTV. If you subscribe to TakeTV today, if you donate to TakeTV today, half of those donations and subscriptions will be taken and applied to the prize pool. So I know that it starts at $500. I'm not sure if they've got a counter on their stream or anything to update what it's currently at. If they do, if someone can fill me in, that'd be much appreciated. But yeah, so again, subs and donations here in BaseTradeTV are not going to contribute to that, unfortunately. But I'm just making sure everyone knows so nobody's like, oh, I subbed to the channel thinking I would help out the tournament. No, you got to sub to TakeTV to make that happen. And if you guys want to find easy links to that, just type in !TakeTV, and it'll link you to both their subscription page and their donation page. But it looks like Koss is taking a moment here, so hopefully we'll get the games going soon. Thank you to Klondike7 for the 8-month resub. You guys are fantastic. We've been... before this whole Twitch Prime thing came out, we were really bleeding out and hemorrhaging subs slowly over 3 months. We went from, I think, 1,100 down to like 900. We're back up to 1,074 at the moment of me saying this, and that's pretty awesome. So all you Twitch Prime members out there, all you regular resubs, thank you guys for supporting BaseTradeTV. It's super duper appreciated. But looks like we got a lobby going up. I'm going to just try and sneak on in here with a real ID for King Sejong. There we go. Shout out to Baguette for hosting. I guess it's Arami, I'm assuming, but I don't actually know. Oh, Gaming, TakeTV. They've got a lot of people they interchangeably have casting. So I never know quite who to give the gratitudes to. What are the other groups that come up after this? I should take a look so we can start preparing a little bit ahead of time. It's going to be groups G and E. So Daishi, Lambo, BCQD, Strange. I already want to cast that group just because of Lambo and BCQD. I mean, Strange and Daishi are cool, don't get me wrong, but E is also Mana, Demuslim, DNS, and Damaga. Oh, Demuslim just subbed here too. Maybe we'll catch that one. I'll put up another vote for you guys to pick which games you want to see us cast. There are 2 groups that'll be going simultaneously, but again, that won't be till after these first 2 groups finish up. So we got some time. We certainly have some time. Actually, because it looks like we are going to have some time. Specifically, I'm going to go with that poll up now on Twitter, so you guys can have a chance to share and vote for who you want to see. So, where's this group E? Mana, Demuslim, DNS, Damaga, and group G is Daishi, Lambo, Beastie. All right, there we go. Straw poll's up. We're not straw poll. I keep saying straw poll. It's a Twitter poll. It's a Twitter poll. Make sure to go vote while you guys can. Let me know which groups we should put things towards next, but that is still a good like hour and a half or 2 hours or something away. A long time from now, basically. We got to finish up this group. Then we probably have a bit of a break, I imagine, and then we'll get into it afterwards. So again, this is the third and final match here for the losers match. We already had Snoot win first place in the group. The winner of this goes on to fight against Zanster, and the loser is sadly just gone forever. Space Next 77 says, BaseTradeTV, do you know if donation siphoning to the prize pool will continue tomorrow? I do not. I imagine it will, but that's a question you'd have to probably tweet at Naruto or Dennis, because I'm just here to cast, boys. I'm not part of the organization for how this is all going down. We are getting into game number 3. As just stated, this is the losers match. Spawning at the bottom right side to determine his life and perhaps fate in the tournament. It's going to be Dead Pixel's FeaR. Top left, going to be the red Terran player, Kas. And, of course, as predicted, asking if Zombiep's not here today. She just left. She literally just left, guys. So, if you missed it, I don't know, go watch the VOD. Too bad, so sad. She's got some real-life obligations today, and we originally weren't planning to cast this. We had something completely different set up, but then, TakeTV asked us. We were very happy to oblige. We shuffled some things around, and I said, yeah, hell yeah, we'll be here. We'll both be here for tomorrow's round of 16 double elimination. There's no doubt about that. But unfortunately today did have some prior engagements in which she was tied up with. Also, just to address the delay thing, because I guess we do have some new people trickling in. There is a current issue with TakeTV's delay. They had intended to use a longer delay than they are. They're using 1 minute, not 2. We're using 2 as they requested of us. And they don't want to restart their stream. So what we're going to do is after this group finishes, after Group F is completed, we're going to restart the stream with a 1 minute delay, because a lot of you guys who've been trying to use multi-Twitch have been tweeting at me, and I see those complaints. I addressed this once earlier, but I'm going to do it again because I just got another tweet about it. We're going to try and sync up the delays. That way you guys don't have to have your multi-Twitches screwed up or whatever the complaint origin is. Probe is going to get an SCV kill out of Kas, by the way. That is, 1-0. This is where you got to use the spray can, man. If you guys don't know, they recently put spray options here in the game for workers. You can kind of do this to be a little bit BM. Personally, if it was me, I'd put a spray after killing the SCV, but whatever. Kas feeling very strong. Both of them know where they're at, and I mean, there's some friendly banter between the two between games, so I don't think there's anything where there's going to be anything too rude or anything too super for serial going on. No angry mode stuff here. Now, talking about the previous games leading into this one, we once again do not have a Stargate opener out of FeaR. He's gone for the Robo one more time. I think when you're playing against somebody like Kas, who is certainly set on using Widow Mines, the Robo is the better choice. Oracles can cast Revelation, but it's not the same reliability that having an Observer out is. And, of course, because SCV died. Naruto, what are you even watching, man? I love the little poop emoji. We also realized they added shading to the emojis recently. I'm not sure why. Also, can we back up? This is going to be like an old man Rifkin off-topic rant for just a half a second. Why are they called emojis? I remember growing up on the internet, and they were called emoticons. And I always thought emojis were just like the really big, obnoxious versions. But they're still called emotes/emoticons. Emoji, I guess, might be easier to say, and maybe that's why it became the colloquialism it is, but I don't like emojis. I don't like the word emojis. I like the actual, like, emotes, the emojis themselves. It's not like the word. I'm an old man. I don't like change. What's Snapchat? Who the hell? Where am I? Anyways, drop coming in. It's got that Widow Mine once again. There's a Hellion paired up with it, which is kind of interesting. I guess the Hellion can wrap around the backside of the natural, but also, more importantly, might distract. If the Stalkers are chasing a Hellion out here like a bunch of otters chasing a butterfly, then they won't be here to defend the main. But the Stalkers do reposition themselves. This medevac is going to turn away immediately, and unfortunately for Kas... Okay, he's going to come around the backside. I was going to say, if he turns away, he doesn't get a lot of scouting through it. And that's usually the best part about these Widow Mine openers. Like, okay, they may or may not get kills, but they definitely get scouting. The overcharge pops immediately. The medevac's not going to over-dedicate, but it does lose the Widowmine. It does lose a Marine, and he's going to fall away from this. Now, seeing this many Stalkers is certainly scary. You start thinking in your head, like, it's got to be Blink, right? But there's no Twilight Council, and that goes back to the importance of Koss having scouted anything. So there's going to be a Warp Prism. There's going to be Stalkers, but it's not going to be much, and I don't think it's anything he can't handle. Liberator sets up and gets a couple of kills inside the natural base of FeaR, but FeaR also has a third on the way, so if they can't clean this up, it's not the end of the world. Medevac also contemplating on loading. Other side of the map, the Observer sees that siege tank, and I guess he's going to find some opening up here. Again, just the emphasis that there's no blink for this, so he's going to have to manually unload with a Warp Prism. As it wraps around the south side, it might just drop off the Adepts and they'll grab the Stalkers afterwards. It might just guard the Adepts too. Either way, SCV is going to be pulled off of this for the time being, and that Marine drop coming home actually is going to be really nice. So not a lot gets done, and without the assistance of the Warp Prism, the Stalkers are kind of useless, so FeaR going to just kind of give up, turn around, and go home. Speaking of home, I do, excuse me, 6 a.m., rolling around, feels bad, man. He does take down the rocks. I like this. There's not going to be the option for the tanks coming on the backside for really cost-abused positioning if these rocks are taken down already. This also is going to allow the Adepts to transfer through and perhaps catch them off guard from the backside, and that's how you set up flanks, but more on that later, depending on where the fights come down. Because for all we know, Koss could be on the defense for the next 5 minutes if FeaR ends up putting on the pressure. But FeaR's not looking to move out anytime soon. He's got +1 finishing up, he's got Resonating Glaives on the way, Chrono Boost on both because he wants them out ASAP. But that third base did finish up after all, and he's looking to saturate this up with probes, and more probes. Actually, FeaR took a really nice income lead until the cast started dropping those mules again. This will help band-aid the economy for the time being. I'm an old grumpy man, Grandpa Rifkin. It really makes you think. Look, just because I don't get emojis, okay? I'm still hip. I could totally do a kickflip on a skateboard, probably. Get off my lawn. Oh, Twitch delay. It's gonna be weird. Streaming with 1 minute of delay. I don't even know why it's like 1 minute. That's so weird, but I guess Twitch slider and emoticons and delays and non-StarCraft things. Thank you guys for tuning in. Gateway's finished up at the backside. We got the Immortal coming out, and it's worth noting there actually isn't a double robo put down. I'm wondering if this will be because he wants to eventually get Colossus, or if he's going to put a lot more emphasis on Gateway units. I think the Immortals, by the way, are so crucial. Like, if you've got just Stalkers, we see so many times, like, the best things these are good at is blinking underneath Liberators, killing them, and then dying to the Marauders in the process. But if you really want to kill the Marauders, okay, Adepts are a cheaper alternative, but I think Immortals are the better way to go. It's just personal opinion from watching games. I can't actually say that's definitively better or not. Speaking of Adepts, by the way, Warping hits up the main Mineral Line, but doesn't get SCV kills, as he was met with Marauders pretty quickly. In fact, the tank's going to secure the kills here, and FeaR's going to get nothing for it. That's going to sting. I shouldn't say nothing. Five or so SCVs died for this, so not the end of the world. Warp Prism's going to just be given up. Doesn't even try to phase it out. Doesn't even try to run away with it. Pylon set up on the backside for some overcharges. I guess anticipating an attack and a push out of Koss at some point. Koss, tomato, potato, smoothie, whatever. So I guess Charge is an interesting add-on to this. I mean, it's already got Blink and Resonating Glaives. No, backed it up. He didn't take Blink. Oh boy, this is actually really interesting. He's got no way to get on top of those tanks too easily with those Stalkers, I guess. Huge investment in Stalkers as well, so not going to be super effective over there. If the Adepts transfer through and are on top of the tanks, that's cool, but this fight starts off really badly for FeaR. I love the Guardian Shield. It's helping reduce a lot of damage. Koss isn't focused firing it down, but as the Adepts transfer out of it, they get on top of the tanks to get into the dead zone. He cleans up the fight, and those Immortals are just tearing through the Marauders. This fight, maybe not the cleanest thing on either side of the field. Honestly, both players made this messy, but oh, the dance out of FeaR at the end. GG, well played. Koss going to get knocked out of the tournament, and FeaR is going to go to the finals, where he's going to get a rematch chance against Xanster. Keep in mind, if you guys are just tuning in, you missed it. FeaR and Xanster actually played at the start of the day, and Xanster won 2-0, both times with a bit of cheese. So I was talking about wanting to see this one more earlier, and a big part of that is that, you get away with cheese once or twice. It's kind of like, I wasn't paying attention, or I didn't know what to do. But now he's coming back in for a second best of 3. FeaR should ideally be better prepared for this, and if for no other reason than simply just for the sake of scouting and knowing that he's capable, his opponent that is capable of doing weird stuff. But on my side of things, guys, I'm going to go to a break. So once again, before we do go to the break, remember to hit up that giveaway command, !giveaway in chat for a chance to win some free gift cards from G2A. You can use those to buy some games for cheap. Also, again, the TakeTV command, !TakeTV. It'll link you to their donation page. It'll link you to their subscription page. And you might be like, Rifkin, why are you advertising someone else's donations and subscriptions? It's because half of those are going to go towards the prize pool, and I'm all for trying to get the players more money, guys. So make sure to hit those up. Last but not least thing I will ask of you is, while we do get into this finals match, keep in mind, there's still this one last best of 3 for the group of Xanster versus FeaR. We do have the next match starting up, or sorry, the next group coming up shortly afterwards, and it's groups E or G. I have a Twitter poll out right now. I'd love for you guys to go vote in. Right now, Group E is currently winning, with people wanting to see Mana, DeMuslim, DNS, and Demaga the most. So make sure to vote while you can. And let's be honest, this vote matters more than the presidential election anyways, am I right? So, we'll see you guys in a bit.